So the vulnerability is the willingness to ask why you are suddenly aware of this. Not to take action. And this is where not everyone, that's a blanket statement, this is where a lot of people get disrupted. And so this is what I've been going through since I jumped on the quantum wave tonight. You know, if you have a pendulum, right, and you pull the ball up here, whatever, the weight or whatever, and you let it go, it's going to go over here, and then it's going to come back, right? It's a universal principle. Positive thinking, which to me is like always finding the good versus the bad, whatever that means, or always trying to stay in this state that's up here. Positive thinking always burns out. The reason is because the body's not involved. And so your brain gets tired of always doing this, and the body has not followed. And so here's the issue, is that's why positive thinking doesn't work. Because it is in contradiction to the universal principle, which is simply, if I take it here and I move it, it's going to come back. If I try to get in the way of the downswing, my terminology would be peaks and valleys of life. So if I'm trying to jump from peak to peak to peak to peak, and I'm not going through the valley, I'm going to get exhausted. I'm trying to take shortcuts. I'm going against the universal principle, which is what goes up must come down. Gravity. We find ourselves in this place where we're always trying to keep ourselves up, never allowing ourselves to go down and be aware of the why or the where we're at. And instead of fighting against the undeniable parts of life, which is the peaks and valleys, it's getting in the groove of it and writing it out and asking the question why, versus always trying to be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. I think they wrote a song about that. Well, that's easier said than done. And so, seeing the valleys before we take action, because when you start to go down, so we're at the peak, we just had this high in life, and now we're going down. Action, you don't need any kind of action until you're coming up, right? So what about all this time from the valley and this last peak over here? For me, that is the awareness of where I'm at. It's the willingness to stop and look around and see where I'm at and build the strength to then use the exercise to climb up to the next peak. And we're so programmed to, you're not supposed to feel that way. You're not supposed to be down. That, you know, if you're down too much, we're going to call that depression. Or maybe a bad attitude. But really, it's a necessity to go up, to get to the next peak. And so rather than allowing it to eat your lunch, seeing it for what it is and using the energy to bring you back up so that you can break free of the suffering or the perceived suffering. It's like, I'm okay with how I've felt today. Wasn't okay with like the 3 or the 4, the rough start. But like that middle ground or the 6 or the 7, like I'm okay with that. Because I know on the other side of it is the peak. And it's not a fake peak, or it's not the same damn peak. That's called addiction, where I use something to reach a certain high over and over and over and over and over again, and the reality is that the peak goes down and down and down and down and down and down. And the peak may not even be a peak. That's the lie, that's the delusion. The peak is simply the ability to not deal with reality, which is not the unwillingness to get vulnerable or the unwillingness to accept your current reality. How important it is to know, who you are, of course, but this is the where you are. Maybe it's the where you are in regards to your current reality, the physical realm, but where you are in life. Back then, I called it the spiritual realm. Today, I call it, I don't know what I call it. I haven't thought about it much, but it's where am I at on the peaks and valleys? And am I willing to get an accurate description of that, or GPS point, or whatever, so that I can see things for what they are, so then I can have this accurate of who I am, where I am, based on where I came from, and continue to ride the quantum wave. I think we've talked about it before. There's times that you have to swim back out. That's the valley. To be able to get back on the wave. Really, the swimming back out is the up climb. Wow, that was an awesome wave. Did all these gnarly tricks. And then that's the awareness of being on the peak, which is the beginning, the downslide. And then now it's, I got to swim back out to the break so I can get back on the wave, which is the peak.